Hello everybody and welcome to the Night Garden. I am Artemis Quinn, aka Vamp, and I'm here to talk to you about writing today. Specifically, I will be talking to you about Lemon Balm, which is the first in 5 main series books of the Tales from the Night Garden universe. We have a couple of other things that are planned for it, but these books are mainly written already. Lemon Balm is a story involving 2 ace-spectrum non-binary leads, which is the first in a series of 5 main ship books in the Tales from the Night Garden universe. So Tales from the Night Garden is following the life of a vampire and a werewolf overall. At its core, Lemon Balm is a story about supernatural creatures struggling to exist while a vampire and a werewolf build a ragtag pack of people falling through the cracks. It is about finding your purpose. It is about being everything that you want to be and can be without being apologetic for it. It is about the queer experience. It is about the ace experience. It is about living in a world where you feel like you do not belong and carving out a place to belong there. It's a story about the supernatural world of shadows and about magic and preternatural beings and those types of things on its surface, but also at its core, it's a story about accepting yourself for who you are, not being told that you can't love who you want to love or be who you want to be, and also a story about finding yourself when you've lost something very dear to you or lost something that makes up a part of your identity. So Lemon Balm is the first of 5, as I mentioned, and it follows Cypress, who is one of the 2 main characters of the series, and Acanthus, who is the other main character of the series. Cypress is a fairly normal 22-year-old living through post-pandemic New York City, just kind of dealing with standard stresses that come from being a young guy in the city proper, and is living a fairly easy life otherwise until he winds up getting bit by a dog. And once the bite happens, he has blackouts, losses of time, rage, fits, irritation constantly, and it throws a huge wrench in his daily life. So he decides to, start looking for medical help, start looking for therapy, those types of things. Nothing winds up working, and he kind of runs out of options. On top of this, he's navigating newly coming out as non-binary, and dealing with some slight phobia from friends, and kind of isolating from that as well. Out of options, Cypress does wind up going back home to his mother's house, and then happens across a really good deal for an old church in the middle of the woods. Decides, well, I'm going to move there. I'm going to use the last of my savings, and at least I'll be isolated. Maybe I'll get better, but if not, at least I'll be isolated and I can figure this stuff out on my own. And buys the church outright, just goes and buys this church and decides to handle it as a fixer-upper. As luck would have it, his first night going out there, because it's the first time being there at night, finds out that there is a vampire already living there. They have a property dispute, for lack of a better word. Acanthus is a vampire who has lived there for a very long time. Acanthus is a very old vampire who has kind of given up on their life, has completely isolated themselves for the last 100 or so years, and is just kind of waiting for something to happen. They founded the Night Garden, which is this series of unmarked paths that help supernaturals get away from precarious situations in the world of shadows, which is kind of the supernatural underlayer of the standard human world. So Acanthus no longer actively runs the Night Garden at this point, but this church is a stop on the Night Garden. and they can't lose the building. So they make a deal with Cyprus that they are going to buy the church back from them and figure something out. Shenanigans happen, and these two accidentally start a war. And without going too much into detail, because it is spoilers, Acanthus uses their Night Garden connections in order to get out of their own precarious situation while navigating this world that Cyprus has been thrust into. And Cyprus is just along for the roller coaster ride. If this sounds interesting to you, then we are currently doing a crowdfunding campaign. We're hoping to launch July 1st. It will run for the month of July, but the campaign is to finish paying our editor to get the final edits done for Lemon Balm, which is, again, the first in the series. Our ultimate goal is to have the ebook out to backers by mid-August and have the books out to people by the end of September for launching the story in October. So if you'd like to support our story of two A-spectrum non-binary leads going through life and finding themselves, finding a direction when they've lost one, and finding a found family, then consider backing our campaign. Thank you for giving me your time, and I will talk to you later. Bye, everybody.